and financial parts of what goes on in the ministry. Now, I've been a permanent secretary for about 7 or 8 years, and I find that generally the role of a permanent secretary is the same. However, the needs of a ministry may differ. So, for instance, I first began in the Ministry of Housing, and then I went to the Ministry of Transport and Aviation, and now I'm at the Ministry of Education. So while a permanent secretary is responsible for ensuring that the ministry runs well, the needs of a ministry may differ. And so I found that in the Ministry of Education, when I came to the ministry, there was a need not only to ensure that the ministry was running properly, but also to ensure that the staff was sufficiently motivated and were able to perform their tasks. So in the Ministry of Education, the budget of the Ministry of Education between the three departments is $322 million. Between the Department of Education, the Ministry of Education, and the Department of Archives. So of course, those departments are very, they have heads who are very competent and they run their departments well. But ultimately, it's only the PS who can get in trouble if things go awry. And as we know, the government is in the process of passing legislation now to shore up the accountability and transparency of the sector. And so the permanent secretary has even greater responsibilities now. And so certainly in the Ministry of Education, when I returned, I found that I had a role of being not just ensuring that things went well, but I found that I needed to be the chief cheerleader for the staff of the Ministry of Education. Because I came to the Ministry of Education and we went from crisis to crisis. There were 2 hurricanes. Well, I came when Dorian came, and then the pandemic came. And so I found that I needed to just not only ensure that people did their jobs, but I needed to encourage them and motivate them to do even better.
Well, indeed, on that point, P.S. Armbruster, how rewarding has it been when you note the contribution of stakeholders, including teachers and administrators, who have brought in, despite all the challenges, particularly of Dorian and the pandemic, that they bought into the ministry's slogan of school is closed, but we are not on vacation, as well as safety first, education always.
Well, yes, sir, and I thank you for that question. And that has been, I have seen that has been the foundation of how we have moved forward, because we have been required to provide education for the children of the Bahamas, but not compromise their safety. And so certainly with the pandemic, of course, the role of the Ministry of Health has been critical. Also, the role of the communications team has been critical. I applaud you all. But also the role of not just teachers and administrators, but the general administrative staff in all of the departments. They have all come to the fore and just been exemplary. There's been a lot of negative talk about public officers since March. I'm here to say the Ministry of Education got it going on, okay? The staff of the Ministry of Education have worked consistently hard, gone above and beyond. Not just in teachers and administrators, but our boards and our committees. I think of NACE, the National Advisory Committee for Education, headed by Mrs. Garraway. Excellent. The Preschool and Daycare Council, headed by Mrs. Agatha Archer. The NACOR board, all of the various boards and committees have gone, the scholarships board, they've gone above and beyond. I think of the examinations and assessment division.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, and the curriculum division. We had to postpone the exams and then offer them again. They have just been simply exemplary, just done exemplary work. And you know, we cannot thank them enough.
Yes.
And it's just, it's been a tremendously rewarding experience for me to have been to make my part and to be a contributor to what is going on in the Ministry of Education.
I want to ask you one question. You mentioned earlier that you had to be the cheerleader. You know, there's a scripture in the Bible that says, and David God himself, there were some unique problems he had, major problems. He had to encourage himself in the Lord because no one else was around. Everybody was discouraged. What encourages you?
Well, what encourages me is I really have a love for the children of this nation. Okay, and I have a passion for seeing that these children are educated and that we do our part. And that has been such a tremendously rewarding experience for me, just to do my little part along with the director and everybody else. And I started out in the Ministry of Education in 1982, and now I'm back this is my third stint here, so I've really come full circle. But when I look at the children, this tablet initiative and what we are doing for the children, and the children are so motivated and they're such wonderful young people, and just to have a role to play in seeing that these children perform well, to do their very best. Ultimately, we're here for the children, and so that has been the most rewarding thing for me.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, thank you so much, Permanent Secretary Ambrose. It's always a pleasure to speak with you.
Certainly. Thank you so much.
Again, thank you so much, P.S. Albrister. We all have a role to play because education, as we've always said, is everyone's business. If you would like to receive free updates on what's happening in the Ministry of Education, receive free text message notification updates by subscribing to 819-BMOE. That's 819-2663. You can visit our website or hit us up on Facebook. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and other social media platforms. On behalf of my able co-host, Ms. Denise Pratt, I'm Vaughn Aubrey. Thank you so much for joining us. See you again next time.
Coming up in the news, Grand Bahama's top cop reporting an increase in assault on police officers.
All violators, without exception, will be dealt with.
Also, 2 men hauled before the court facing charges of an unlicensed firearm. And voter registration drive underway on Grand Bahama, but are residents taking advantage of this initiative? The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition.
Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Shoshina Roll-Farquharson. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news this evening, an officer of the Traffic Division of the Royal Bahamas Police Force assaulted during a routine traffic stop this past weekend. The officer was reportedly dragged by a vehicle for more than 200 feet. Well, Grand Bahama's top cop says assault of police officers is becoming an issue. Tonight, he's warning the public that this type of abuse will not be tolerated, while admonishing residents to allow officers to do their jobs without interference or intimidation. Officer in charge of the Northern Bahamas, Assistant Commissioner of Police Ashton Greenslade, says they are now seeing an apparent increase in incidents of police officers being assaulted while they're attempting to execute their duties.
I warn you that my officers will not be complacent in the execution of their duties. Please be mindful that these officers are efficiently trained and will use necessary force to enforce the law. Furthermore, be advised that we take matters of this nature very seriously, and all violators, without exception, will be dealt with to the fullest extent of the law.
He says the latest incident could have left a patrol officer with serious injuries.
This latest incident, a traffic cop was on duty. He was on static point, and he attempted to stop a vehicle. The driver stopped some distance away from him. The officer proceeded to the location, and he questioned the driver, and he asked him for his name and address. And under the traffic law, failing to give your name and address to a police officer, it then becomes an arrestable offense. So the driver refused to give his name and address, and the officer had the car door, the passenger door, slightly open, and he was in between the road and the car, and the driver actually pulled off with the officer clinging onto the vehicle. And he dragged him some distance, and the officer fell, and he injured himself. He had to go to the hospital, but the culprit in that particular matter was arrested and taken before the court.
He gives this update on that officer.
He received minor injuries, so he got a few days off from work. He's home resting. But it could have been a more serious matter. This could have been a matter where if he continued to drag the officer might have used deadly force, because his life, meaning the officer's life, was in danger at the time. But I'm happy it didn't get to that. The driver used good sense, common sense, and he stopped, and the officer was able to do his job.
But Grand Bahama's top cop says that this is not an isolated case.
An officer earlier in the week dealing with another traffic matter, and again the person failed to give their name and address, and that person was warned, and the officer attempted to arrest, and that person also resisted, and we had a shooting incident in the 8 Mile Rock area where someone wantonly discharged a firearm in the presence of police officers. They too were taken into custody and placed before the court. So we're finding these matters becoming frequent now, hence my reason for asking the public to cease and desist forthwith.
He's appealing to the public to not allow trivial matters like a traffic citation spiral into a serious criminal matter.
When cited, simply pay the fine or attend court to attest the citation.
Greenslade contends that the vast majority of Grand Bahamians are cooperating with police officers, but he notes that if residents have any issue at all, he welcomes them to come into the police station and file a formal complaint. The young man accused of assaulting that traffic cop in the line of duty was charged before the court today. Theo Astwood, age 34, of Hillary Avenue, Freeport, was arraigned before Deputy Chief Magistrate Debbie Ferguson in Magistrate Court 1 on the charge of assault with a dangerous instrument, threats of death, causing damage, obscene language, and assaulting a police officer. He pleaded not guilty and was given bail in the amount of $2,000 with one shorter. The matter was adjourned to June 21st for trial. Also from the court today, 25-year-old Percival Taylor of Sunset Subdivision appearing in court before Deputy Chief Magistrate Debbie Ferguson on the charge of rape. He was not required to enter a plea. He was remanded to the Bahamas Department of Corrections. The matter was adjourned to July 26 for trial. And 2 8 Mile Rock men facing criminal charges as well before Deputy Chief Magistrate Debbie Ferguson. Jeffrey Simmons, age 25, and 20-year-old Matthew Gibson, both of Pinedale 8 Mile Rock, arraigned on the charge of possession of an unlicensed firearm with the intent to endanger life. The matter was adjourned to July 1st, and Simmons and Gibson were both granted cash bail in the amount of $1,400. Now, this is in connection to a complaint made to police on Saturday, April 10th, where persons discharged a firearm in the area of a car wash in Jonestown, 8 Mile Rock. Meantime, 6 Brazilians and 1 Haitian national appearing before Magistrate Charlton Smith to answer the charge of overstaying in the Bahamas. All migrants pled guilty and were ordered to remain in immigration custody for further processing. Additionally, 5 Haitian nationals were arraigned before Deputy Chief Magistrate Debbie Ferguson to answer to the charge of illegal landing. Now, they all pled guilty to the offense and were subsequently fined $300 each or in default of payment 8 months in prison. 1 female migrant in the group was also charged and convicted for overstaying. She was fined $1,500 or in default 8 months behind bars. We have an update now on that fatal plane crash in waters off Bimini this weekend. A small plane headed for Florida crashed after takeoff in Bimini on Friday night. According to reports, the Piper Navajo PA-13 bound for Opa-locka took off from Bimini and crashed in shallow waters at the end of the runway. The pilot, identified as 20-year-old Kyle Wade, perished in the crash. His father, 59-year-old Andre Wade, sustained serious injuries and was airlifted for medical attention. According to U.S. media reports, the young pilot recently received his pilot's license. An investigation is now underway to determine what caused that crash. Switching gears now, an island-wide voter registration drive is underway on Grand Bahama. Officials say out of the 5 constituencies on this northern island, over 30,000 persons are on the register. But as Ramiko Knowles tells us, there is some concern that not many persons are taking advantage of the registration centers. Here's the report.
As of April 10th, some 395 persons have registered as first-time voters and over 400 voter cards replaced, in addition to transfers and name changes. Assistant Parliamentary Commissioner and Officer in Charge at the Parliamentary Registration Office, Denise Pinder, says that not many persons are utilizing the voting centers, and that is a concern.
Because of the effects of Dorian, I expected that we should have more persons coming in to transfer, particularly those persons in the east area that were affected by the storm. I would implore them, if they're not returning anytime soon to their residences in the eastern area, if they're at a new location and they've been there more than 3 months, they should consider coming in to be transferred.
Pinder says she is happy to report that young people are showing up to be registered. She notes that if you were registered for the last election, there is no need to register again, as they are now on a continuous voter registration system.
And right now, we've made that 2017 register that we created a permanent register, so that if you're on that register, you don't have to come in and re-register. What you need to do is, if you move at any time, you need to come in and transfer so that the register stays current with where you are. But that purple voter's card that you have, that'll be the card that you're going to use for every election to come in the future.
A mobile team recently went into East Grand Bahama. The area dealt the hardest blow during Hurricane Dorian. She says registration numbers in that community is low.
We have not seen as many persons as I think we should be seeing. I don't have a number on how many East, how many Marco City, how many, etc. We don't have those figures, but the interactions with the revising officers, the persons who are in charge of the stations, they're not seeing as many persons from those areas as we think we should. We're seeing persons from a lot of the other constituencies, but not from those areas.
Ramiko Knowles, ZNS Network News.
Now, the Deputy Parliamentary Commissioner says that currently there are several registration centers here in Grand Bahama where you can change your address or replace your voter's card.
In the main city area, we have the Parliamentary Registration Department's office in the National Insurance Building on the second floor. Our hours are 9:30 to 4 p.m. Then we open at 5 o'clock until 8 p.m. We have a center located at the Church of Christ Apostolic Church, Pioneers Loop. That's open from 10 to 4, and then again from 5 to 8. We're also at the Masonic Lodge Hall on East Sunrise Highway and East Atlantic Drive. We open at 10, close at 4. We reopen at 5 to 8. In the 8 Mile Rock area, you can register, transfer, replace a card at the administrator's office in Jonestown. You can do that for between 9 to 5. And then at St. Stephen's Anglican Church Hall in the evenings, we're there from 5 to 8. All of the centers are open except for the administrator's office, would be open on Saturdays from 10 to 2.
ZNS Northern Service would like to advise the public that our Power 104.5 station is presently off the air after encountering a problem with an underground cable. We are working to restore that service, but in the meantime, you can listen to 104.5 FM on the ZNS app or on live stream at ZNSBahamas.com. That's going to take us to our first break. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a moment.
Come on down. Come on down now.
Island Bedding is the Bahamas' leading manufacturer in mattress sets. But did you know we also carry top quality products like pillows, comforters, sheets, and much more. Our furniture line is also expanding to meet the needs of those rebuilding. We have bedroom sets, sofa beds, recliners, accent pieces, and so much more. Come and experience Island Bedding today, where everybody deserves their own island.
You all thinking about catching a trip? Get all fresh up and catch the sailing with Valeria Caribbean. Passenger prices start at only $120 per way. And you'll love the onboard amenities while you relax and enjoy the view. Plus, the ferry is secured with all latest COVID-19 protocols. Once you're done shopping, you're back home in no time with no hassle getting your packages. Bins start at $150, and the best thing is when you travel with your cargo, you eliminate the manifesting fees. It's easy, fast, and affordable. Book your trip now at www.valeriacaribbean.com.
Hi, I'm Olympia Ferguson from Budget Pest Control. On Grand Bahama, there are only two types of homes, those with termites and those that will have termites. The signs you should look for are drywood termite fecal pellets, subterranean termite shelter tubes, and of course, damaged wood. We now have on Grand Bahama the Coptotermes formosanus, or the super termite, which can do extreme damage in a very short period of time. To know more and to protect your investment, contact the termite experts at Budget Pest Control. With us, it's not just a company behind you, but a family. We are located on 13 Forest Avenue. Call us today at 351-7378.
Did quarantine, lockdowns, and curfews help you to discover your inner chef? Well, I want to hear from you. Munching with Megan is back. Let's get cooking.
All new guest chefs and all new flavors. Tune in this and every Wednesday on the ZNS TV network. Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. Health officials in the Western District this past weekend for the administration of the AstraZeneca vaccine. Residents of the 8 Mile Rock and West End community turning out at the 8 Mile Rock Community Clinic to receive the jab. Community Administrator Sonia Nesbitt says that they have gotten a great response from persons in that community.
So persons here today are a mixture of persons who have registered online and persons who are walk-ins, and so we have open slots for 250 persons, and we have documented so far today 181 persons who actually went online. We have immunized approximately for the island of Grand Bahama since we started on the 21st of March, over 3,000 persons.
Now, today, officials were mobile, taking the vaccine to elderly persons who are unable to go to the clinic. Nesbitt says on Tuesday, April 20th, the health team will be in the Hawksbill area.
So we do have lists where we would actually go into the homes and we would be immunizing clients. We still would have a team at the Susan J. Wallace building, and then if all goes well, we would be in the Hawksbill Clinic, where we would focus on persons in the Hawksbill, Hunters, Lewis Yard area, where they would come to the clinic and we would immunize them.
The 2021 year's Junkanoo Parade was postponed on Grand Bahama due to the outbreak of COVID-19 that limited group gatherings on the island. Restrictions have since been imposed to ensure crowd control, raising the question as to when and if Junkanoo will return in January of 2022. The Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, the Honorable Iram Lewis, giving this update on the possibility of Junkanoo returning to the streets of Grand Bahama.
It was a lot more challenging than in New Providence because of the effect of Hurricane Dorian, where most of the groups would have lost not only their shack, but all of their inventory. So while we were in the process, or the individual groups were in the process of restoring and rebuilding, then here comes the pandemic. And of course, because of social distancing and all of the protocols, all of that had to be put on hold. But the intention is to bring Junkanoo back bigger and better than ever. We are trying to get the individual group and other enterprising behemoths to think out of the box and see how we can bring Junkanoo back in a more safe environment, bring it back to the community, and also how we can monetize it.
Monique O'Leary, Cultural Officer with the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture here on Grand Bahama, says that the ministry has been in contact with the various group leaders. She says that they're also working on other projects in the interim to bring Junkanooers together.
We've been currently still communicating with all of the Junkanoo groups. We have our Zoom meetings, as well as we have been engaging in training. Some of the groups have taken on training their members to be ready for whenever the government has allowed the Junkanoo Festival to begin. Of course, you know, as I said all the time, is that it is the spirit of our people and the music. And so through the different cultural, for example, we have the E. Clement Bethel National Arts Festival about to go on. We will be pushing the groups to enter their music category, dancing categories, and just engage them whatever we can to prepare for whenever that time comes around.
Switching gears now, dental hygiene refers to the practice of keeping the mouth, teeth, and gums clean and healthy to prevent disease. In tonight's Holistic Health segment, our Jamila Mizik talks to a dentist about the best practices for healthy teeth.
Did you know that the mouth is described as the gateway to the entire body? And if not properly cared for, it can lead to other health issues down the line. Well, today we talked to general dentist Dr. Charlene Reed Morris about the dangers of poor dental practices.
It can cause other diseases like diabetes. It can cause women to lose their baby prematurely, a whole host of things. And so it's important to maintain good oral health. And ways that you can do that is by brushing daily and visiting your dentist every 6 months.
But she says good dental practices should start at an early age.
Parents tend not to bring their kids for routine procedures, only when there's severe problems. And this is kind of unfortunate because it teaches the child to fear the dentist. And so we would prefer to see them early on to prevent any kind of, abscesses or cavities. And I know that a lot of parents don't see it as important, but it really, really is. The primary teeth, the baby teeth, tend to be guides for the permanent teeth. And sometimes when you let abscesses or cavities form on those baby teeth, they tend to cause the permanent teeth damage. Not only that, if you remove those teeth prematurely, because they are guide teeth for the permanent teeth, they tend to shift and move and change the entire way that the mouth is supposed to look and even the face of the child. So when you take it into your own hands, not knowing all the theory and all the practice behind it, it kind of puts your child at a disadvantage. With most babies, in order for them to be quiet, we tend to push the bottle in their mouth and we don't brush them afterwards. It's good that we train the kids from early on to brush frequently, to even take a toothbrush to school so that after lunch they can brush, to clean their tongues, and to teach them how to floss. Because disease actually starts in between the teeth more often than other surfaces. And so it's important for us to get the kids acclimated to brushing and flossing frequently. And like I said, even at school, so that you know that after every meal, they're brushing.
And she says brushing your tongue is equally as important.
After you eat, a lot of the particles are left on the tongue. So it's good to kind of get a good clean in. Now, a lot of toothbrushes have the tongue scraper at the back of the toothbrush so you can use it. Now, I have to say clean the tongue and not scrape, as well as get a good rinse afterwards, just to leave a clean surface.
Dr. Reed notes that the leading cause of tooth loss in the Bahamas is gum disease.
It's because of the high prevalence of diabetes in our society, and I think it also has something to do with what we eat and how we eat. We eat a lot of fatty foods, and we also tend not to brush as frequently as we're supposed to. So that is the leading cause. And what happens is once you've gotten to a certain stage of that gum disease, it's hard for you to get back to, back to normal. So what you have to do once you've been diagnosed as having gum disease is to try to maintain it so that it doesn't get any worse.
Until next time on Holistic Health, I'm Jamila Mizik.
And that's a look at stories making news. Let's check in on sports with our Jay Philippe.
Good evening, I'm Jay Philippe and welcome to Sports. The Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture, in conjunction with the National Sports Authority, made a major donation to the YMCA. Brand new state-of-the-art computerized swimming starting blocks was donated to the YMCA. The Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, the Honorable R.M. Lewis, saying that he saw the need to get the equipment for the swimmers at the pool as soon as possible.
Now, we realize that aquatics is very important, and the President, Mr. Algernon Cargill, in partnership with NSA, advised that request was made to have the facilities upgraded once again, the NSA and Director of Sports sprang into action. We discovered that we had some more upgraded starting blocks at the Betty King Center in Nassau that could have been utilized in Grand Bahama. The NSA sent some, through the Aquatics Association, sent some starting blocks down here in recent times, but we found more state-of-the-art adjustable blocks with the touch pads for automatic timing, and I'm being told that the value of those these starting blocks exceeds some $30,000.
Lewis says the other swimming pools on island will be receiving donations as well. He knows that there is a lot more work to be done for aquatics.
I'm advised by the president, Mr. Cargill, again, that plans are underway for a major aquatic center to be constructed in Grand Bahama in partnership with the Grand Bahama Port Authority and other private corporate citizens. So again, once those plans are finalized, we will make the announcement, and we intend to again construct a world-class aquatic facility in Grand Bahama and throughout the islands of the Bahamas.
Playing an intricate role ensuring that the starting blocks were available was General Manager of the National Sports Authority, Quentin Brennan.
I know what it is to have the proper facilities. Minister Lewis just mentioned also so that people can make a living, but there are numerous of individuals who can now come here at the YMCA, learn how to swim, free college education, and the list goes on and on and on and on. So again, great equipment, great facilities means the world to everybody.
Switching gears now in women's hoops action, Jonquel Jones and a UMMC Ekaterinburg European League basketball team won the FIBA European Women's Championship with a 78-68 win over Perfumes Avenida. Jones just missed out on a double-double in the championship game, scoring 9 points while grabbing 11 rebounds and blocking 2 shots in the contest. Jones will now shift her focus to the WNBA, where the season is expected to start May 14th. And that's a quick check on sports. I'm Jay Philippe. Be blessed.
Connet Bahamas Mother's Day sale on all merchandise except AC units and special order cabinets. Freeport, Abaco, and Eleuthera. Follow on Facebook and Instagram for more information. Connet Bahamas.
Hello, everyone. I'm Simeon Oughton, Senior Pastor here at New Life Worship Center, and I'm extending an invitation for you to come and worship with us Sundays at 9 to 11. Look forward to seeing you.
Journey to a serene oasis. Relax. Rejuvenate. Renew. Welcome to Renew Day Spa. For appointments, call 352-REN.
Hi, I'm Wes. I like to put some shoes on your feet.
Hi, I would like to put some shoes on your feet.
Hi, I want to put some shoes on your feet.
I want to put some shoes on your feet.
Hi, I want to put some shoes on your feet.
Let us put shoes on your feet.
Are you tired, overweight, having trouble sticking to your health and fitness goals? Well, look no further. The Fitness Connection has teamed up with ZNS to bring you Health Bites. This and every Thursday, tune in, and we'll make sure you get on track and stay on track with your health and fitness goals. Tune in.
Industrial business is an industry where safety is priority. ATP Industrial Outfitters has the gear for whatever industrial environment you work in. FR fire retardant coveralls, your protection against fire. Chem splash suits for industrial tank cleaning and inspection. Hazmat suits for mold remediation and the medical field. And Tyvek disposable coveralls, protections against particulate matter, light oils, and hazardous liquids. All suits available now at ETP Ship Care and Industrial Outfitters. Number 19 Oak Street. Phone 824-2047.
Bad little lady, yeah, she be driving me crazy. When she licking her lips and moving them hips like Connie, baby. I wanna take her down now.
The
King of the North is back. Power 104.5 FM.
Chantel Dorset Green, you are our Facebook friend of the day. We say thank you for your support. And that is going to do it for us here in the North. On behalf of our entire ZNS News team, I'm Shoshana Rolfe-Farquharson. The Bahamas Tonight continues.
Coming up in the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, Americans forewarned about traveling to the Bahamas. More COVID vaccines on the way. And an alleged fraudster spends the night on remand. Those stories and more when the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report returns.
We've heard your concerns about the COVID-19 vaccine, and we're here to give you some of the facts. The COVID-19 vaccine is absolutely safe and effective. We've seen that it definitely helps prevent people from getting severe illness and from death due to COVID-19. So people should take this vaccine, firstly to protect themselves from severe illness and death. But they should also be taking this vaccine to try and help the country get herd immunity. So while you may be sitting on the fence wondering what the vaccine might or might not do, right now, you can be sure that the virus itself can certainly make you ill at any age, in whatever physical condition you may be in. If you have comorbidities, diabetes, hypertension, and even obesity, do make sure that you get your COVID-19 vaccine as soon as it becomes available to
you. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC's Dollar Holla Deals.
Good evening, I'm Akush Lopinder. Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks for tuning in. It's the kind of news the Bahamas just doesn't need, not when it's looking to lock in more visitors to jumpstart its top industry and, by extension, the economy. The Centers for Disease Control today upgraded its COVID-19 level for the Bahamas to the very highest, 4. It's a warning to avoid all travel here. The CDC reasoning that due to the current situation in the Bahamas, even fully vaccinated travelers may be at risk for getting and spreading COVID-19 variants. However, in the event one must travel to the Bahamas, the CDC advises that one be fully vaccinated, that all travelers should wear a mask, stay 6 feet from others, avoid crowds, and wash their hands. Now, for those of you wondering how the CDC determines the level for COVID-19 travel health notices, the Atlanta-based agency uses COVID-19 data as reported by the World Health Organization and other official sources to make its determination. In the event a destination does not provide the necessary data, their travel health notice, or THN, is designated as unknown, and travelers are advised to follow THN Level 4 recommendations. It's also important to know that the CDC's THN thresholds are based on the number of cases of COVID-19 in a destination. According to the CDC's website, a destination's level is raised when its case count meets the THN threshold for a higher level for 14 consecutive days. Well, as expected, President of the Bahamas Hotel and Tourism Association, Robert Sandy Sands, acknowledging in a release this afternoon that the CDC's redesignation from warning level 3 to 4 was not a step in the direction the Bahamas wants to go. Still, he re-emphasized the need to not let guards down as the measures deployed, that's the social distancing, mask wearing, hand washing, have thus far worked in the country's favor. Sands says now is not the time to celebrate a victory, but instead deploy common sense steps, adhere to proven protocols, and comply with rules and regulations to mitigate the spread of the virus. As officials have pointed out, this, along with a robust vaccination strategy, are key to avoiding the massive resurgence so many countries now face. Well, now speaking of increased COVID numbers, the Bahamas has been on an upward trajectory in recent weeks. Sunday's total 55. Of that total, 9 are the results of an April 1st COVID testing exercise at an Abaco-based construction company. Another 21 are on New Providence, 12 on Grand Bahama, 4 on Andros, and 1 on Eleuthera. As for the remaining 8, the locations of those are pending. This puts the overall case count to 9,791 as of Sunday. We now have 45 people in hospital, 4 in the intensive care unit. 28 people recovered on Sunday, taking that total to 9,059. Of the 81 tests completed on Sunday, 3 were repeats. WHO head Dr. Tedros has expressed concern over the alarming rate at which COVID-19 is spreading, citing that new cases have risen worldwide for 8 weeks running. Meantime, a 9th grader at H.O. Nash has tested positive for COVID-19, forcing an early dismissal of school for deep cleaning. Education officials say the student has not been on campus for a week or more, and classes are expected to resume tomorrow for those on the schedule. Now, while this is being addressed, Education Director Marcellus Taylor says they're closely monitoring several other campuses.
There are a number of cases of students and teachers. I think we have about 5 or 6 active sites in New Providence, and maybe 1 or so in the Family Island. It may involve altogether about 15 individuals who might be either suspected or confirmed cases. We have a protocol that dictates how we deal with these matters. It basically involves contacting the surveillance unit, or the surveillance unit contacting us, and us also contacting the Department of Environmental Health Services. And then Environmental Health Services will advise on the cleaning protocols that we must take to ensure that the spread of COVID-19 doesn't happen.
And with 5 or 6 active sites in the public school system, Taylor says this is not good for the learning process, but they do have systems in place.
Well, I mean, clearly anything like this is an interrupter. But it doesn't necessarily mean because there is someone who is a suspected case or even a positive case that the whole school must shut down. And so this is what the surveillance unit would tell us, who are the persons who might be, may have been exposed and would have to be kept away, or those ones who have not been exposed and they're fine to return to the school. But even in the event that a school has to be closed, right, and at this point, to my understanding, none had to fall into that category. We have the virtual that we can use as a backup until such time as the matter is settled.
The Bahamas Union of Teachers also closely monitoring the positive COVID-19 cases in the public school system. President Belinda Wilson underscoring, though, the need for her members to stay safe and protected at all times.
So the Bahamas Union of Teachers, we're saying to our teachers, protect yourselves. Teachers' safety comes first. I've communicated with the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Education, who has confirmed that the Ministry of Health and Environmental Health Services are actively involved at this time. We will continue to monitor these schools and all schools in the Bahamas. Again, I thank the teachers for their vigilance and urge them to continue to follow the health and safety protocols.
Well, ahead of tomorrow's National COVID-19 Vaccine Consultative Committee press conference, our news team has learned that more doses of COVID-19 vaccine could soon be in country. A committee member shares when with our Cleopatra Murphy.
The Bahamas is set to receive more than 33,000 additional doses of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine by the end of this week. This is despite a brief pause on vaccinations this past weekend as health officials attempted to take stock of what they had on hand. Member of the Bahamas COVID-19 Vaccine Consultative Committee, Barry Racine, shared what's next at the newly opened vaccination site at Pilgrim Baptist Church.
That allows us to gear back up again. So over the weekend, we did a lot of groundwork, all the people in the background who are putting this together, put together the new schedule, and that's still being evolved, but we got the first few days ready to go, so people can sign up again for vaccinations. Our volunteers can sign up again for shifts, so we're kind of build it back up again.
Pilgrim Baptist Church is one of several sites that will come on stream this week. Officials expect to vaccinate approximately 150 people through walk-ups and appointments during the 2 days it will be opened. Site manager Nurse Antoinette Cumberbatch says with more centers, the aim is to make vaccination more accessible to the public. She stressed that people with comorbidities should prioritize getting vaccinated.
All those persons in a high-risk group, we want to get you vaccinated. And in vaccinating the community, what it does is we cover those ones up, because every time there are going to be a certain amount of people who might not want to take the vaccine for some reason or the other. So as much persons as possible, we'd like for them to get vaccinated so that they can provide that herd immunity for those persons that are not vaccinated.
Patricia Knowles is one of those high-risk people. She says the process was a breeze.
The process wasn't long. I'm glad that I get it over with. I am bedridden, and therefore, I was just saying, I wanted to have it done.
For 25-year-old healthcare worker Zephaniah Lightbourne, while he had initial concerns about being vaccinated, ultimately he decided it was the best thing to do.
There's a lot of things I can be exposed to, and thank God I haven't been exposed. But through it all, I just want to make sure I'm safe and secure, especially me being the only one working in my house. So I kind of allowed that to happen to me. So my main thing is I got to look out for my family.
With health officials confirming the Bahamas is in the third wave of COVID-19 and the case count climbing, 64-year-old Justina Virgil says she wanted to be proactive because she has underlying health issues.
When I see on the news what happened to other persons, I didn't want that to happen to anybody in my family, and so I said whenever it comes up, I'll be the first, and I will encourage as many people as I can to do the same.
Cleopatra Murphy, ZNS Network News.
Stapleton School wrapping up its final day as a vaccination site, as site manager Nurse Desmona Henfield tells us the numbers this past week were encouraging.
Okay, this site is a very special site because it is actually catered to the disabled population, the disabled community. We opened on the 14th of April. Today actually is the last day. We've seen a good intake of persons coming. Wednesday was like about 66, 65. Friday, about 121. And today is a little slow. It is the last day for those persons. You see here we have a drive-up area for those persons who are unable to come out of their car. So we're catering to them, going to them to give the vaccines, also observing them in their vehicle, which makes it a whole lot easier for them.
Now, as the site closes, residents will be accommodated elsewhere.
It's relatively slow today, and I think that's because most of the disabled population has been catered to already, for the most part. I think there are still some persons making up their mind, and so other sites will be able to have those persons vaccinated as well as they come.
Still to come, detectives piece together the clues from the country's latest homicide, and the Bahamas represented at an emergency CARICOM meeting last week. Those stories and more when the National Report continues. And remember to tune in to the Morning Edition with LaDawn Davis and Charles Fisher at 7 o'clock weekday mornings. We also have news updates at every hour starting at 2 p.m. You can then watch live at 5 with Amajal Knowles, followed by the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition at 6:30, and the National Report live at 7 p.m. All right here on the ZNS Network.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
A lot has changed over the past 60 years, but at Commonwealth Bank, our mission to build lifelong relationships with our clients remains the same. Our customers are more than just a number. Our customers are our family. And together, we create banking solutions that fit your unique needs. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
The $20 combo.
Unlimited talk, yo, to every network you know. Across the Bahamas, I got 6 gigs of data, plus unlimited chat. It just roll over too. Now let me check my people on Facebook and WhatsApp. BTC is where it's at. I rock my combo.
Your BTC 10-day combo is now only $20 and is supersized with a new low price.
BTC, do it again.
You know that feeling you get when you have an uncontrollable desire for fried chicken? That's the KFC. A substance that stimulates your senses to identify the aroma of our secret recipe or an extra crispy crunch from any distance. It's invisible to the naked eye, but you can feel it traveling throughout your body, taking control so you can enjoy a juicy bite of KFC. Ignite your senses with KFC.
Upon retirement, I knew that I needed coverage. It was important for my husband and I to have a health policy. And since we were no longer covered by my former employer's group policy, I began the search, which led me to BAF. It was affordable and it met our needs. My experience with BAF came at a time when I really needed it. 2015, I was diagnosed with colon cancer, and it relieved my family and I of the stress and the burden of wondering how we're going to get through this stage in our lives. It showed how remarkable BAF is. BAF is beneficial to me and my family because it makes us realize that should something happen to my husband or myself, my children are not burdened with the expenses of our illnesses. Peace of mind, that is what BAF has offered my family and myself.
It's time to bounce back with P.O.B. It's time to bounce back with P.O.B. Lowest consumer loan rates in the country. Trying to bank with no stress, we make it too easy. It's time to bounce back with B.O.B. It's time to bounce back with B.O.B. Apply today for a B.O.B. Visa credit card, debt consolidation loan, or easy top-up. B.O.B., your bank of solutions.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
4 new pieces of financial legislation set to take effect this summer: the Public Finance Management Act, Public Debt Management Act, and the Statistics Act will become law on July 1st, the start of the new fiscal period, with the Public Procurement Act following suit in September. The latter requires significant staff training, vendor education, and awareness, as well as the establishment of new functions. State Minister of Finance, Senator the Honorable Kwesi Thompson, touting each law as raising the standard of existing government processes to meet global best practices with a focus on transparency and accountability. The laws mandate all information regarding budgets, public sector data, debt management plans, procurements, opportunities, and awarded government contracts be published within a specific time frame. The government's to embark upon an aggressive education campaign in terms of the new roles, procedures, and responsibilities in each act. The period will also be used to formalize the new committees, boards, and institutions. Foreign Affairs Minister the Honorable Darren Henfield, representing Prime Minister the Most Honorable Dr. Hubert Minnis at the 14th Special Emergency Virtual Meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of the Caribbean Community last Thursday. The eruption of the La Soufriere volcano in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Barbados, and St. Lucia dominated the discussions. St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, spoke of the critical need for water and food on the island, while Barbados Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Mia Mottley, shared that the thick volcanic ash over our island has wiped out the island's vegetation, and the limited visibility has forced the closure of the Grantley Adams International Airport. We asked Prime Minister the Most Honorable Dr. Hubert Minnis about the meeting on Friday as he declared the country's support for the Caribbean community.
We've made a pledge at this particular point in time to assist them at least with $100,000 and we'd assess our position as we move forward. I know that one of our vessels is en route to Suriname, which means that they would have to pass St. Vincent. And and my Foreign Affairs Minister is in discussion with all the other CARICOM nations so that if they have any supplies that they want taken to St. Vincent, as our vessels leave, we would stop to the various ports and carry those supplies. But I would urge all Bahamians that if they have any additional supplies, water or whatever they want to send, please inform NEMA, inform the Defense Force, and we'd be more than happy to take them down while our vessel is en route to Suriname.
In news from the courts this evening, a 35-year-old woman is tonight on remand at the Bahamas Department of Corrections after pleading not guilty to a litany of charges. Grand Santa Subdivision resident Landeria Russell today appeared before Chief Magistrate Joyanne Ferguson Pratt, who read the first 40 of 160 counts of possession of a forged document, more specifically a negative COVID-19 RT-PCR test from Doctors Hospital. Those 40 counts stretching back to Wednesday, November 25th, 2020. Russell, who was represented by attorneys Ian Cargill and Wendon Miller-Frazier, maintained her innocence. She's due back in court on Tuesday. 13 witnesses appear on the court dockets, the majority of them police officers. A man stabbed to death on the streets of the capital is the country's latest homicide victim. Police are calling on members of the public to assist in locating the culprit responsible for the early morning slaying. Here's officer in charge of the Central Detective Unit, Chief Superintendent Shanta Knowles, with the details.
Our police control room received reports that a man was lying unresponsive in the street at Collins Avenue, just north of 6th Terrace. Officers and medical personnel responded to the scene, discovered the male. Upon examination of the male, they discovered that he was deceased. At present, we are working with limited information, and we are appealing to members of the public, especially those in this community, who may have any information which can assist us with identifying those who are responsible for this incident, or with any information that can lead us to the identity of the man who is now deceased.
Police said the victim was wearing a red shirt, dark pants, and sported a full beard.
It doesn't appear as if he is someone who frequents the streets, and for that reason we definitely need the assistance of the public, the members of the community, especially in this area, who may have information or who may have seen something that occurred earlier this morning, to give us a call. Investigators will work every possible lead or will utilize any tool that can assist us in this investigation. So, of course, at some point we will be combing the streets here to determine what information can help us to solve this matter as quickly as possible.
Well, another 3 of the 6 men killed last Thursday have been identified. Those victims, 31-year-old Renato Bastian, 21-year-old Maurice Pinder, and 27-year-old Donario Saunders, all of Camp Road. Previously named were Kendall Lord and Delano Smith. The men were gunned down in broad daylight April 15th on Jerome Avenue and Chesapeake Road. A woman and 2-year-old girl were injured. This was the deadliest shooting in recent times. And as police follow significant leads into that mass shooting, we want to remind you of their public appeal. For any information on this incident, please contact the Central Detective Unit Major Incident Room at 502-2046, 502-9929. Crime Stoppers at 328-TIPS, that's 328-8477. The Royal Bahamas Police P3 app, 919-911, or the nearest police station.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Tourism today. Bahamas tourism today.
The islands of the Bahamas continues to make its mark as one of the hottest Caribbean destinations as they go head-to-head for top spots in the World Travel Awards. This year, the Bahamas has been nominated for an incredible 9 categories, including leading beach destination, cruise destination, cruise port, honeymoon destination, luxury island destination, leading tourist board, most romantic destinations, and the Caribbean's leading destination. You can vote now by registering at worldtravelawards.com/vote. You now have the chance to help the Bahamas achieve the highest recognition in global travel by winning tourism's ultimate gold standard. So what are you waiting for? Vote today. I'm Mercedes Demerit, and this is Tourism Today.
Basketball is back, baby, and so is NBA League Pass, only with Rev Trio. Sign up for Rev Trio today and enjoy NBA League Pass absolutely free, along with incredible prizes, including a brand new 50-inch smart TV, NBA gear, and more.
With tons of prizes and gear, signing up for Trio is the best on and off-court move this year. Just call 601-8992 or visit www.rev.bs/promotions/trio.
Sign up for Rev Trio today and enjoy NBA League Pass absolutely free.
With 99% of medical claims paid in under 5 days, we're like that spider that doesn't climb in your shower. CG Atlantic. Insurance, health, pensions, life. Good like that.
At BPL, we are building for better. And that starts with improving customer relations for every single customer. Whether it's your home or business, big or small, we want you to know that you are important to us and that providing you with efficient and reliable energy is our business. Through increased efficiency and our hedging strategy, we've been able to decrease your bills significantly, a much welcome relief in these trying times.
I pay close attention to my BPL bill, and I've noticed a continual decline since July of last year. I'm so happy I can open my bill and know that it's steadily becoming more manageable.
As an entrepreneur, I've seen my electricity bills for home and business go down. This is amazing because now more than ever, it gives businesses and everyone the break they need to not only survive, but to succeed.
At BPL, we're proud of the early success of our strategic plan, and we look forward to consolidating the gains we've made. With more improvements on the way, we are continuing to build for a better future for all of us.
You watch them grow and make plans for them even before they're old enough to talk. You spend a lifetime of sacrifice to pave the way for their success and create a tomorrow you too can be proud of. Can you tell who is the investor? At Leno, we believe everyone who has ever put a penny aside for a future dream is an investor. If you're new to investing, Leno's financial experts stand ready to design plans based on your goals. Let's sit down and explore the options one-on-one and see how, together, we can make your dreams come true. Whether considering traditional investments like a new home, car, your own business, security in retirement, or your child's college fund, we take the confusion out of the process and make an investor out of you. Call 396-3225 for an appointment. Leno, your bridge to the future.
Discover the possibilities.
Discover the possibilities.
Discover the possibilities.
I discovered the possibilities.
I discovered the possibilities.
When you wanna save money on your tile supplies, who you gonna call? The Tile King. When you tile your house and you wanna look good, who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Visit the new Tile King showroom, which is internationally recognized as the finest tile showroom in the Caribbean, located in the Builders Mall on Wolf Road.
The Tile King. Who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Tiles on everything.
Join up for life insurance. Secure the ones that you love. Join up with Family Guardian. We offer full protection. Join the family. Join the family. Family Guardian. Protect the ones you love. A brand that you can trust. Family Guardian.
Everyone's excited about the $8 meal of the day. Every day, it's a different 6-inch sub, plus chips and a 20-ounce drink for just $8. That feels like fresh value. Come in any day of the week for one of your favorite 6-inch subs. Like turkey breast, meatball marinara, sweet onion chicken teriyaki, black forest ham, Italian BMT, oven roasted chicken, and tuna. Then add chips and a 20-ounce drink, and you've got the $8 meal of the day. A great meal at a great price every day of the week. Only at Subway.
Shell Unleaded improves your fuel economy, giving increased miles per gallon, allowing you to do more of what you really want. Special additives used in Shell Unleaded improve your engine's efficiency. So go further with Shell Unleaded. Venture out to beaches, Junkanoo, and festivals, and bring home memories that will last a lifetime. Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
Officials have issued a call, and some have been all too happy to answer and assist in the COVID-19 vaccination effort. In this week's edition of Things You Should Know, Cleopatra Murphy introduces you to several people giving their time to ensure Bahamians enjoy the process.
Volunteers are a key component of the country's COVID-19 vaccination strategy. Health officials say without them, they would not be able to get the job done. Among those answering the call of duty, serving selflessly at several vaccination sites, is Gary Sweeting. The Rotarian, who says the organization is all about service above self, shares why he is giving of his time.
I've had 2 weeks with Church of God of Prophecy, and then when this opened, I came here this morning to make sure that some volunteers were here. And as soon as it gets properly going, I might be in another station at another time. But we just fit in wherever we could to make sure everything goes smoothly. Sometimes we have to do 2 or 3 jobs in the same day, but we just want to try and get the community vaccinated.
Also assisting with the vaccination effort is Francisco de Cardenas, who believes getting the public inoculated is vital for the country's future.
I think this initiative is so important. I mean, one of the most important things that's going on in our country right now, and I think it's the right thing to do.
He appealed to more people to offer their time.
They're opening up sites, not only here in more sites, not only here in New Providence, but I think down in the islands now, and it takes a village.
Member of the Bahamas COVID-19 Vaccine Consultative Committee, Barry Rassin, says with the help of health professionals and volunteers, the vaccination campaign is progressing. He says since issuing a public appeal, more people have come forward.
We've had a lot of people contact us when we sent a word out over from the Office of the Prime Minister. We had 70 people within 24 hours add their names to the list. But this is going to take thousands of volunteers. So we need as many people as they can to give us a shift here, give us a shift there. Some people are working every single day. It'd be nice to give them a little time off.
Those interested in volunteering at a vaccine center can send their name, organization, phone, and email to covax@bahamas.gov.bs. Cleopatra Murphy, ZNS Network News.
And still on COVID and education, a local pediatrician's prescribing face-to-face learning as the cure to the well-being of youngsters in a COVID-19 environment. Carla Palmer reports.
While emphasizing health and safety measures be enforced at all times, local pediatric consultant with the Princess Margaret Hospital, Dr. Deshawn Saunders, is an advocate of school fully reopening in this COVID-19 pandemic environment.
It should be around other children. That's where they learn. That's where they develop. And because being isolated, that has affected their learning. Virtual learning is not good for younger kids. They learn from one-on-one, face-to-face interactions. And so virtual learning has been a challenge. In addition to our kids that are on spectrums, kids who have developmental disorders, they also can't function virtually. And so that has also been an effect.
From the children examined, Dr. Saunders says as many as 40% are exhibiting various forms of behavioral defects. with teenagers being affected to a greater degree.
Because there's, they thrive with social pairs, they thrive with having extracurricular activities after school, they thrive, with teachers. Just that whole atmosphere has changed. And not only that, kids are distracted by being online. There's cyberbullying, there's sexual harassment.
While some children have thrived with virtual learning, Dr. Saunders says too many have not, as the home environment could also prove distracting.
One of the things we've seen in our children and our adolescents, they've had sleep deprivation. Some kids are up all night on Fortnite, Roblox. Parents, I would encourage them to take media out of the rooms. Take the TVs out, take the telephones out of the rooms, take the computers out, take the iPads out, have curfews. After 10, everything should shut down or shut down your Wi-Fi. You understand? Because it's affecting our kids.
To help in overcoming most, if not all of these obstacles, Dr. Saunders is advising parents to create a new routine in this new normal environment to help our children develop mentally and physically. Her prescription? Time together.
Spending more family time with our children, going to the beach, going for walks, learning how to cook a new dish, spending more quality time. In addition, talking more to our kids.
Carla Palmer, ZNS Network News.
Texas, here we come, at least starting next month. That's when American Airlines is set to begin its new nonstop Saturday flights between Austin and Nassau. This as the airline seeks to offer more flights to more destinations in Latin America and the Caribbean than any other airline. Such news come as flight trends show a steady increase in travelers' interest in the Bahamas, with Kayak.com reflecting a more than 30% improvement in March and April over December 2020. AA resumed regular flights here last October from MIA to Eleuthera, Freeport, and Georgetown. It also flies to Nassau from Dallas, Philadelphia, Charlotte, Los Angeles, and Boston. Well, as we head to the break, we'd like to thank all our viewers watching us live on our social media platforms. And just in case you missed the news, be sure to head there to catch up. Stay with us. There's more after the break.
At Solomon's, we believe in fresh for everyone. Whether you're an amateur or a seasoned chef, a baker, a grab-and-goer, a late-night snacker, a brown bagger, an excellent microwaver, or all about being fit, we have all the fresh you want at great value and the best prices. So what are you waiting for? Shop at Solomon's, because we believe in fresh for everyone.
Every day, it takes a commitment to quality, a commitment to the people. Here at Impact, we commit to you, to providing you with the best, most efficient waste management service in the country. Across the Bahamas, every home and any event is within our reach. Let the fastest growing and most reliable team help keep your Bahamas clean. Impact Waste Management Company, committed to you.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home health care supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price. And you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
Hey guys.
guys, it's Shay again with another quick tidbit on the perks of being an Alive customer. Now, if you're already on our network, this may just be a refresher for you, but if you're not, this might give you that extra push. If you're interested in getting a bill every month, or you're interested in the best prices on some of the latest devices, or if you've been a little bit interested in that auto pay option, this might be for you. It's time for you to join postpaid and experience opulence.
Simply put, being an Alive postpaid customer means you selected the plan of your choice and you then pay for that plan routinely every month. Unlike prepaid, where you can fluctuate between 7-day and 30-day, all postpaid plans are 30-day plans. So what are some of those postpaid plans? We have our Liberty More, which is $59.99, gives you 10 gigabytes of data, 500 talk and text minutes. Or we have our Liberty Premium, which is $99.99 per month and gives you 20 gigabytes of data, 1,000 talk and text minutes. Or we have our Liberty Elite, which is $149.99 a month, includes unlimited data, talk and text, and 1 gigabyte of roaming data. Again, all of our plans include unlimited Alive to Alive calls and text. Now listen, we also have postpaid MiFi plans. That's right. If you have a MiFi device, you can purchase postpaid data plans, MiFi Basic, MiFi Plus, and MiFi Preferred. So what else can you look forward to? Even though we are still practicing social distancing during this time, as a postpaid customer, you not only have access to exclusive offers and devices, but exclusive invites to virtual events hosted by Alive in partnership with local vendors and access to special offers at many vendors on our List Rewards app.
So there you have it. If you're a prepaid customer and you've been thinking about making that postpaid switch, we hope that this helped. If you're not an Alive customer, what are you waiting on? Alive, believe, invest.
Minister of State for Disaster Preparedness, Management and Reconstruction, the Honorable Pakeisha Parker Edgecombe, spent 2 days in Abaco assessing post-Hurricane Dorian reconstruction. On Friday and Saturday, she toured various construction sites, including the Abaco Port and Warehouse, Little Abaco to Main Abaco Bridge, S.C. Boodle Senior High School in Cooperstown, the Cooperstown Firehouse, new houses on Green Turtle Key, the Amy Roberts Primary School in Green Turtle Key, and the Abaco Waste Facility. Well, it's time now for a check on Family Island weather with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Makisha. We have that front boundary that's heading this way. We expect it to stall, but it will create some shower activity over the extreme northwest Bahamas. All the details coming up in the newscast later on, so stay tuned. Outside of our studios, we're under a mixed bag of clouds and sunshine. Temperature at 84 degrees, relative humidity 69%. We have north-northwest winds at 6 miles per hour. The barometric pressure 1,014.6 millibars. That's 29.96 inches, and the pressure is rising. Temperatures around the islands this evening are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 75s in Freeport, Grand Bahama, Green Turtle Key, and Marsh Harbor, Abaco, the Berry Islands. A warm 81 degrees, 81 in Alistown, Bimini, 81 in Harbor Island, Roxanne, Eleuthera at 82 degrees, 84 in Staniel Key, 84 is also in Kemp Space, Andros, and Fresh Creek in Central Andros. Alistown, Cat Island, 81, San Salvador, Rumkey, and Georgetown, all at 81 degrees. 81s all through Ragged Island, Clarence Sound, Long Island, Crooked Island, Betsy Bay, and Acklands. Matthewtown, Unagua at 83 degrees, and the Turks and Caicos Islands also reporting 81 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Ball, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Setter. In the northwestern islands tonight through tomorrow, you can expect south to southwest winds, speeds around 10 to 15 knots, wave heights 2 to 4 feet. Low tide takes place this evening at 7:43. You can expect another low tide at 8:35 tomorrow morning. And in the central islands through Tuesday, southeasterly winds 10 to 15 knots, wave heights also 2 to 4 feet. In the southeast Bahamas, a little slightly stronger at 15 knots, also out of the southeast. Wave heights around 3 to 5 feet over the ocean with just a margin chop in place. And as we take you into the middle of the week, Wednesday, the winds become southwest to west at 10 to 15 knots, wave heights 2 to 4 feet. Low tide on Wednesday takes place at 9:50 in the morning with a high tide at 3:46 in the afternoon. In the central and southeastern islands on Wednesday, southeasterly winds 10 to 15 and the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
Come on. Yeah. Gotta do it. Go back to the island, boy. Let's go. Wake up early one morning, kiss my mama goodbye. Going back to the island, I say, don't worry, mama, don't cry.
Let's label. I sure hope that she's still able. So this evening around 5 o'clock, I'll stand at her bow and see the dock. Out in the field from dawn till dusk, swimming in the blue pool is a must. That island where I was born.
And that's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned for extended weather forecast is still ahead.
This Easter, the hunt is on at Ashore Win. Somebody's gonna be lucky when they enter our Easter Extravaganza raffle.
Ready? Set. Go!
Stop into your favorite Ashore Win location from March 30th to April 30th. And win over $50,000 in cash and prizes. The perfect Easter basket stuffer can be yours. Come on down and let Ashore Win bring out the winner in you. Ashore Win, the short way to win.
Today is a day for fun. Today is a day for family. So why should yesterday's worries affect my today? That's why I insure my family with J.S. Johnson, because their mission is to provide us with the best insurance coverage possible. With J.S. Johnson, I know my family comes first, so I take comfort in knowing that they always have us covered, providing us with a great today and an even better tomorrow.
J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers, giving you peace of mind.
Cooking something new or whipping up a family favorite? Great meals start at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Quaker Oats, 18-ounce size, $2.99. Amarlanda Fresh Milk, 1 liter, $1.39. First Choice Sugar, 4-pound bag, $2.09. Danish spare ribs, $2.59 per pound. Aberdeen Bacon, 12-ounce pack, $3.49. Open Monday through Saturdays, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Double stamps on Sundays, Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
Samantha's always on point. She doesn't miss a thing. When she signs up for any insurance policy, she reads all the fine print. She knows what's covered, what's not covered, and she's aware of her deductibles. When it comes to insurance, it pays to know your policy. Review every insurance policy so you know what you're covered for. This message was brought to you by the Insurance Commission of the Bahamas.
We're ready with the newly remodeled reception area. We're ready with your safety as our top priority. We're ready with state-of-the-art equipment, cutting-edge technology, and an enhanced patient information platform with online access to your reports for your physician. At Fourth Terrace Diagnostic Center, we're ready to serve you. Open Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call to make an appointment today.
ZNS Total Sports is brought to you by Fourth Terrace Diagnostic Center.
Welcome to sports. It was a special moment for Bahamian baseball in the country in general over the weekend, as Miami Marlins second baseman Jazz Chisholm Jr. and San Francisco Giants second base coach Antoine Richardson made history. The first time ever a Bahamian player and a Bahamian coach shared the field in a Major League Baseball game. Jazz would hit his third homer of the year to help give the Marlins the 4-1 win over the Giants, continuing his impressive hitting streak. We caught up with Anton, who spoke to us on what the moment meant for the country.
You know, you especially on Jackie Robinson Day, you kind of think about like everybody that's come before you and that's paved
paved the way for these moments, and obviously this is a unique moment for us. And, you know, both of us get to sit there and share that moment because there was a lot of work that was done beforehand from a lot of different people, right? And not just like baseball players, but just people in our lives and people in our country that have fought for equal rights and to give us these freedoms and these liberties to chase our dreams. And so I think like that in itself is just an important place to start. What it means for baseball in our country, I mean, baseball's been thriving in our country, you know. I think it just hasn't necessarily got the love as some of the other things, but it's been thriving for a very long time, you know. We have been having people in professional baseball for a while now. Obviously, Jazz is the latest guy to actually get to the major leagues. And so I think we've been on the map, you know. I think the world has recognized it for a very long time. And I think what it just does is just allows the Bahamian people to kind of get a better glimpse of like what's actually happening with baseball in our country.
In basketball news, a crowning moment for Bahamian Jonquel Jones as she finished with 9 points and 11 rebounds, as well as 2 blocks, as her UMMC Ekaterinburg won its 6th FIBA EuroLeague Women's Championship with a 78-68 win over Avendita. Ekaterinburg won its 3rd consecutive EuroLeague title and 6th overall. The team, who was stocked with WNBA talent, including Brittany Griner, Brianna Stewart, Emma Messiman, Courtney Vandersloot, as well as Allie Quigley. Stewart was named the EuroLeague Final Four Most Valuable Player. WNBA training camps open on April 25th. And that's been a look at sports. More news when we return.
ZNS Total Sports is brought to you by Fourth Terrace Diagnostic Center.
Imagine. That's where every advancement begins, with an idea that things can be different, better. Now, imagine a world where your entertainment experience was all about you, your style, your show, at your budget. At Rev, that's what we've imagined. To join the conversation and learn more about the future of Rev TV, visit us at rev.bs/imagine.
With 99% of medical claims paid in under 5 days, we're like that spider that doesn't climb in your shower. CG Atlantic. Insurance, health, pensions, life. Good like that.
The $20 combo. Unlimited talk, yo. To every network you know. Across the Bahamas, I got 6 gigs of data. Plus unlimited chat. It just roll over too. Now let me check my people. On Facebook and WhatsApp, BTC is where it's at. I rock my combo.
Your BTC 10-day combo is now only $20 and is supersized with a new low price.
BTC, do it again.
Legend. A story that has been passed on for generations.
In those days, you had to leave school at the age of 14, as you know, which I thought was a criminal act. I really wanted to be an engineer. Yeah. My daddy said, no, you're going to be a tailor. In those days, you had to do what your parents say. So every young boy in those days had to find a trade.
Did you know that tens of thousands of people around the world participated in the final Stage 3 trials for the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccines? The AstraZeneca vaccine is 62 to 90% effective at preventing symptomatic cases of COVID-19. The vaccine also slows transmission of the virus from person to person. There were absolutely no cases of serious illness or hospitalization within 21 days of receiving an initial dose in the AstraZeneca trials. More than 124 million people have received at least one dose of a COVID-19 vaccine. So far, the approved vaccines have been overwhelmingly safe and effective at protecting people from COVID-19. To learn more about the vaccines, visit opm.gov.bs/vaccines.
This message has been brought to you by the Government of the Bahamas in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
Sixth pick in the 2016 WNBA draft, the LA Sparks select Jonquel Jones from George Washington University.
Jonquel Jones.
On top, Jones lets it fly, and Jonquel Jones hits the three. They're knocked away from behind by Jones. Connecticut with the steal. Thomas to the front court. Spins. Now penetrates. Dishes for Jones, who lays it in.
It's like a happy feeling to see the governor assisting with the WNBA.
Did you know that in the history of hurricanes in the Bahamas, hurricanes have made landfall at least 3 times in one season? In recorded history, what year did the first hurricane make landfall here in the Bahamas? The first documented hurricane to make landfall in the Bahamas by local officials was on August 23, 1886. It was simply called the Great Bahamas Hurricane of 1886. It made landfall in New Providence, Andros, and the Berry Islands.
There's a spark of greatness in each of us. That spark is called personality. Individual gifts and talents provide the fuel to set that spark ablaze. Each child has the right to an education which values their personality and nurtures their talents, while teaching them to be respectful to their parents and their cultures.
The natural resources of the Bahamas play a critical role in supporting Bahamian livelihoods. For example, the fishing and tourism industry, which include fishermen, seafood exporters, hoteliers, dive operators, restaurants, and others. Collectively, they generate approximately $1.5 billion a year. Therefore, we must respect and preserve what we have. These resources belong to us.
This is my livelihood.
This is my livelihood.
This is my livelihood.
So let's all do our part to maintain our local economy and a good quality of life. Remember, if we take care of nature, nature will take care of us.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather, if you look at our satellite picture this evening, we have some cloudy conditions moving in over the northwest Bahamas. That's ahead of a frontal system, which is still pretty much over central Florida, moving very slowly towards the south and east. We expect it to stall just to the north of us, but the prefrontal activity already affecting Grand Bahama, Bimini, and the Abacos, even slipping into the Berry Islands. And if we're lucky, we probably could get a late night shower as well out of this system. But it will stall there for a couple of days, and later on in the week, we expect it to eventually move through. So by Thursday or so, we could see some showers working into our area. Other than that, the winds are going to be relatively light for the most part, so boating will not be a problem, save for if you are in the vicinity of these showers. Waves, winds and seas could be locally higher in gusts. Our forecast for tonight calls for partly cloudy, very humid conditions. Those winds are blowing out of the south to southwest, and that will continue for the next couple of days. The low temperature getting down to 74 degrees tonight. And tomorrow, we're looking at another warm day with a high temperature around 86 degrees. We clocked 86 for a high today. And it's going to be, as we said, very humid with a mixed bag of cloud and sunshine in the mix. And then as we take you into our 7-day outlook, this is how things will shape up. We're going to keep you basically sunny during the daytime right through the week, but there will be some showers working their way into our forecast as we get into Thursday. As we told you, a couple of showers will be in the mix, and then that will continue right into Friday. Things drying out as we head into the weekend. The winds picking up a little tide as that frontal system goes through. So you'll see daytime temperatures. They're going to remain in the mid to upper 80s right into Wednesday. Thursday, when that frontal boundary pushes through, temperatures drop just a couple of degrees into the mid 80s. That will hold right through the weekend. Nighttime temperatures in the low 70s. Making sure.
Well, thanks, Basil. That does it for the Bahamas tonight. We thank you for continuing to make ZNS your #1 news and information network. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. On behalf of the entire team here, thanks for watching and good night.
must make sure that your mission is in touch. Yes, Mom! Agent 1, what is a touch? Physical contact, Mom. Agent 2, what is a good touch? Touches that make you feel alright, Mom. Such as? A high five, a handshake, even a kiss, Mom. Good. Now, Agent 3.